Welcome to Wrestling Over Everything, everybody. We are a very funny wrestling podcast out of the Central Valley of California. I'm Andrew. That's Dusty.
Hey.
Follow us on all the stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram, Twitter, all the shebang and bangs. Most important thing, YouTube, podcast apps. Really helps us. And you get to hear all of our stuff. If you like wrestling, wrestling adjacent things, bald guys, crooked face, skinny boys. Like, if you like any of those things, you know what I mean?
We're hitting all the main demographics that way.
Yeah.
We're a 4-quadrant podcast.
Well, just all the quadrants. I've heard we've got 5 quadrants. I didn't even know that was a possibility.
That's a quadrant in the mind, dude.
Think about it, man.
That's the mind quadrant.
So we're gonna lead off real quick. So Dusty and I, this is like, I don't know, this is like the 12th episode of this podcast. I'm numbering them somewhere, but I don't have the number. But we've podcasted together for like a lot. Like, this is like the 212th episode of that we've podcasted together. And we have a tradition: when somebody's birthday comes up, we get each other ridiculous gifts.
It's one of my favorite things in the world to do.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's to look for something to get you that I hope will bring you joy, but also that you hate. That's the main goal.
Yeah, and I think I nailed that Venn diagram in my offering today. In the past, Dusty got me a big book of Chuck Norris jokes that I hated awfully. I got him a Flamin' Hot Cheetos shirt. You got me a Creed shirt at one point. Yep. So I got you socks with my face on it.
An all-timer. That's an all-timer right there.
This one, I sometimes just fate strikes you. Yeah. It was Amazon Prime Day. I knew Dusty's birthday's coming up. It's in 2 days from today, right?
That's true. It is in 2 days.
And I the first thing I Googled, I think I wrote novelty gift or something. I can't remember. It was on that front page. I'd like you to open that gift up.
Okay. Make sure I'm on the right side of this. So
it would be very funny if you have the wrong package.
Yeah. Well, because I ordered a bunch of stuff for me, but this came on a day that I hadn't had anything set to deliver. So I believe that this is from you.
Okay.
So, all right. Package is open. Make sure that people can't see my goddamn address on this thing. All right. I'm looking at a square, but I'm... Take
it out and show the people, Dusty.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I am now the proud owner, and I do say proud. I am proud.
I appreciate that.
To be the owner of a wacky, waving, inflatable tube guy. It's a little bitty tube guy.
Yeah.
I have my cat in here. She's gonna freak out.
Your cat is gonna want to fuck this thing up, dude. I saw some videos of people using it. And if it works for you like it works for the other people, it doesn't work like the big ones do. It looks slightly different when it's working. So
I would hope that it wouldn't work exactly like the big one.
Well, the big ones are cool because they're like a little more flappy,
Yeah, well, and they're gigantic.
This guy's, from what I've seen, goes erect and then flaccid. Like, there are 2 modes. There's not really a flappy mode. He goes straight up in the air, and then he just bends over on himself.
Oh, added gift. I have the wacky waving inflatable tube guy histories and uses booklet.
Oh my God.
What
could that possibly have in it? I didn't even know that came with it.
It's a secret manifesto. He knows no one's ever going to read that, so he's just put all his weird thoughts in there.
So I asked Dusty. I told him that I would appreciate it if he would plug this guy in on the air.
We might have to do a different video because you have to have a 9-volt battery, and I have to get a screwdriver.
Oh, that's so annoying. Do you have a 9-volt battery? I'm going to have to send you a 9-volt battery. I didn't even look. It doesn't plug in?
No,
it's battery powered.
It's battery.
Damn it.
So you know what? We can make a separate special video.
Do you have a 9-volt battery?
I don't even know if we have a 9-volt battery, to be honest with you.
Okay, if you don't, let me know and I'll freaking Amazon one to you because I don't want you to have to buy something for this bullshit gift that I got you.
Here's, here he is.
There's the guy.
That's at least the guy. You're getting some guy. This is in the primordial ooze stage of wacky waving inflatable hand guy.
At least we're seeing the guy.
Yeah, we're here to discuss the art of professional wrestling, Andrew.
Yeah.
And this week we are covering the tag team of the Hollywood Blondes, the fourth iteration of a team called the Hollywood Blondes. This is, well, for my money, the most famous one because it happened the most recently and with the most television coverage. We're covering Stunning Steve Austin and Brian Pillman in their time as the Hollywood Blondes.
This is the fourth iteration of the Hollywood Blondes?
This is the fourth iteration of a team called the Hollywood Blondes. They all have a Wikipedia. They all want sun chips.
Why do they misspell blondes? Is that how you spell blondes?
I believe that's how you
spell it. BLONDS? Isn't there an E?
There might be an E. I guess it doesn't.
That's so old wrestling to misspell it on purpose. The two spellings of the same word. They both are acceptable, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we've got Buddy Roberts and Jerry Brown, former governor of California, apparently. Yep. And then we've got Rip Rogers and Ted Oates.
Yep.
And Dusty Wolf and Ken Timms. And we got Steve Austin and Brian Pillman. Ken Timms, creepy looking dude.
Oh no.
Have you never seen
I've
Ken
never seen Ken Timms.
He looks like he was just in this picture, at least. I haven't seen a lot of Ken Timms. Ken, if you're a listener, I'm sorry. He looks like he was just caught looking at something he wasn't supposed to be looking
at. He looks like the Streak in the Ray Stevens. He looks like he could be the dude in the Ray Stevens song, The Streak. Like that's
Which one's The Streak?
Oh yes, they call him The Streak.
Okay.
I don't
remember The Streak.
It's a flasher. It's a don't look, Ethel. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I that one that checks out for sure. He looks like he's telling you a list never existed.
Right. He also kind of looks like knockoff Mark Hamill. Like he's Leon Skywalker, the lesser known Skywalker.
Like if Weird Al's friend from UHF had a way different haircut.
Yeah. But guess what? He was a champ. Ken Timms. Can't take that away from him.
Looks like he was a champ. Yeah, the NWA World Light Heavyweight Champion.
Look at it. So Buddy Roberts is famous. Rip Rogers is reasonably famous. He ran a wrestling. He worked at the wrestling school that Jim Cornette and Danny Davis used to run. Dusty Wolf was if it's the same Dusty Wolf, he was like a premier WWF jobber back in the day. So I think dude, it's still safe.
I love a premier jobber, dude.
Yeah.
I have a special place in my heart for a premier jobber.
I think it's safe to say that Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brian Pillman win the notoriety of the Hollywood Blondes name by a mile. I'm fairly confident in that assertion.
Well, and as evidenced by the fact that they're the last ones on the Wikipedia. Apparently, Lenny Lane and Lodi used the name the West Hollywood Blondes at one point.
Yes, because they were like closeted. I mean, they were coded. Guys? They were coded gay characters, but they didn't actually call them gay.
Right.
So yeah. So I think this is the most famous iteration of this team. I watched a lot of this as a kid. I was like right in the prime, starting to watch wrestling age to hit the Hollywood Blondes. And it's interesting to me, and we'll get to the various reasons it's interesting throughout the episode. But just for a little bit of background, Steve Austin is either 28 or 29. He's 28 and 29 throughout this whole thing. Brian Pillman is 30 to 31 whenever they form this team. And Steve Austin had started wrestling in 1989. He'd got a little bit of pub in like before he came to WCW, but he's in WCW about 2 years after he turns pro, and he's in a pretty decent mid card spot. Like he wins the world television title from Bobby Eaton, holds it for a little while, then he wins it. He loses it to Barry Windham, but wins it back and has a really long reign with it. And he was in the Dangerous Alliance, which is Paulie Dangerously's group that was the main heel faction in WCW for most of 1992. So he's got a lot of like he's not publicity, but like he's been shown a lot. He's got a lot of airtime, but he's not in the upper mid card. He's not near the main events. He's just kind of right in the middle, but he's on TV a lot and he has a pretty decent spot.
He's got so much damn charisma, man. Like that's what I got from this whole thing is like that guy was going to be a star no matter what. I love the idea of the character. We'll get to all this, but like you can't take your eyes off Steve Austin.
No,
when in his matches.
He's magnetic. Like I watched some of this with my wife and she was like, "That's Steve Austin?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Wow." She's like, "He looks completely different, but the walk is the same."
He's still, like he's still no matter what, he moves like the rattlesnake.
He's got the rattlesnake.
Whatever gimmick Macho Man had, he was still gonna have the high shoulders and the weird like finger thing, and like you can't move. Your musculoskeletal system doesn't change, you know.
Yeah, and he's got that bravado, no matter what.
He's still stomping mud holes in people.
Yeah, and then Brian Pillman had after his football career, he'd trained in Canada. He had wrestled in Stampede with Bruce Hart as his tag partner as a team called Bad Company, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, dude.
And then he came to WCW, and again, he's sort of similar to Austin. Like he had a nice mid-card spot. He was in a tag team with the Z-Man. They won the United States Tag Team titles, had a little run with it. He won the WCW light heavyweight title, had a really famous series of matches with Jushin Thunder Liger that are really, really revolutionary for that time. And his style was really high flying for the early 90s. He did a lot of cool stuff that guys weren't doing back then. And he had great charisma as a babyface. And then in September of 1992, he turned heel for the first time. And I think like babyface Brian Pillman is fine. Like he can smile and he can slap hands and he can get the crowd behind him because of his like athleticism and the moves that he does. But it's so clear that he's so good at being a heel. Like it like flushes out his personality in a way that being a babyface never would. Yeah, he's a complete madman. And so they start to team them together for no other reason than they don't really have a plan. WCW doesn't have a plan for either of these guys. So they kind of just throw them together. And that's why. So the first thing that we watched is a match that Steve Austin and Brian Pillman, with no name, have against a couple of enhancement talents, Chris Sullivan and Tommy Angel, on the WCW Power Hour in October of 92. Chris Sullivan looks like a gym teacher.
These guys are jobbers as jobbers get.
Yeah, and it's like you could tell they've just kind of thrown Austin and Pillman together. Like they don't have a team name, they don't have any gear, they don't have any distinguishing features to show that these guys are supposed to be together. And it's like a quick squash match. Austin wins with his finish at the time called the stun gun, where he picks a guy up and then he throws him onto the top rope. The top rope clotheslines him, which I assume hurts worse in wrestling logic.
I think it's a cool move.
Yeah, it definitely looks cool.
I think anything landing on the ropes, I'm a mark for, to be honest.
So that's just kind of the early team up of them, and then Brian Pillman teams with Barry Windham, and it's kind of, they're not a group, the three of them, but they're all kind of in each other's orbit. And then the office decides that Barry Windham is going to move up to being like in the main event scene. And so in storyline, Barry Windham tells Brian Pillman like, hey, you should form a full-time team with Steve Austin. Like, we're not going to be partners anymore. You should form a team with this guy.
Yeah,
And
you're a maniac. You're a maniac.
this guy's a
You
maniac.
guys, I feel like you guys got something going on here.
Yeah. Austin, not pleased. He does not want to be in a tag team. He was like, I guess he had been promised by the higher ups at WCW a U.S. title run with Harley Race as his manager, which would have been an interesting run. And like you said, there's no holding Austin down. Like, he would have made that great. That would have worked for him. But they take that
I
away.
feel like that means they believed in him too, because like Steve Austin doesn't need a manager. So like they would put Harley Race next to him to legitimize him, I guess, right?
Yeah, to build him up, because Harley Race ends up going with Vader, who's the world champion, who also doesn't necessarily need a manager, to talk for him. So they put him and Pillman together, and he's not stoked about it. But they decide to start riding together to kind of get to know each other, to try to maybe build some chemistry, because they're going to be a team. And so while they're on the car rides, they're riding with Raven, who was Scotty Flamingo in WCW at the time. So it's the three of them in the car.
I don't want to ride with Raven.
He's a member of Mensa, dude. He's very smart.
His poems. Is he really a Mensa guy? Or does he just tell you he's a Mensa guy?
No, I think he's got the membership. So Pillman is like, look, if we're going to be a team, all the great teams have a name and they have matching gear. And like, if we're going to do it, if they're going to throw us together and they don't think it's going to work, let's fucking show them and shove it in their face. And so between the three of them, that's how they come up with the Hollywood Blondes. Scott Levy, Raven, was like, you could take the name, carry on the name, and then Pillman came up with the matching gear. He's like, they kind of worked the gimmick out in real time, which is the really interesting thing to look at when we watch these series of matches. Is it's like, it's not a completed project when you see them the first time. That it's always kind of evolving to whatever the final form of it's going to be, but it's while it's happening, which I think is interesting to see. So
that is true. You can tell they started to find their characters as it went. And one thing that I've noticed is, it's because at first you hear, as me, a guy who only knew Stone Cold, as the Steve Austin. I never saw the Ringmaster. Obviously, I never saw the Hollywood Blondes, any of that. You're like, how is he going to do anything else? Like, how do you take that freaking guy and make him some like blonde-haired guy from Hollywood walking in, acting like he's holding a camera, but it's perfect because he's like, he's better than you. He's blonde. He's going to talk a bunch of shit to you and call you fat. And he's also just a demon in the ring. Like, he's just such a jerk. And he's ferocious the whole time, like Stone Cold is. And I think it worked really well. Like, the gimmick worked a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, we kind of see that. The next match we looked at was from Super Brawl 3, which I wanted to watch Super Brawl 3 so bad when I was a kid, because Sting and Big Van Vader were having a strap match, but there was like a mini movie where Sting in a helicopter has to come to Vader's like cave lair for some reason, and it was called the White Castle of Fear match. Because Vader lives in the White Castle.
That's why they kept calling White Castle. I was like, "What? Are we going to see Harold and Kumar and Kumar here?"
And Kumar. And I was like, "Dude, White Castle of Fear. This is going to be dope." And the match is pretty dope, but the videos are so stupid. Like, Sting it's like he can feel Vader's presence, and like Vader's yelling at him, and you can see Sting imagining Vader yelling at him. It's awesome. But so this time they have the theme song, which I like quite a bit. I like the Hollywood Blondes theme song. Yeah. It's like slow, not quite Pantera, but it's got like a kind of metal vibe to it. And they have the matching trunks now, the tight, or it's trunks with the stars on it, and it's red and black, and it's very simple, but it works. They don't quite have it all together, but they're starting to look like a team. and like they belong together.
Yeah, and the theme song is not what I expect the theme song to be. I expect the theme song to be like more California-y, more like something a little more sunshiny, not like hard rock, but with the personas that they have, like these guys are tough, like dickheads.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
it works.
So they're taking on Eric Watts and Marcus Alexander Bagwell. This is a pre-Buff Bagwell.
Listen, I don't know about you,
Uh-huh.
but I watched this match
Yeah.
and I feel like that Marcus Alexander Bagwell guy might be the stuff.
He might have the stuff. You might say he might have the type of personality that can wear a big top hat.
Dude, I gotta be honest, man.
Yeah.
Did they bury Marcus Bagwell by putting him in the NWO?
No, actually, because before at least in my opinion, before the NWO, he was in a tag team called the American Males. So I think the NWO.
They came up with some stupid ass tag team names back in the day, didn't they?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, I don't know, man. I feel like he could have been like a really good like guy that didn't have to live in the shadows of like holding fucking Hulk Hogan's pocket. You know,
Yeah,
he's a crazy athlete in this match.
yeah, he's very athletic. He's the best guy on his team. Eric Watts famously stinks out loud as a wrestler.
Yeah.
But his dad is Bill Watts, a famous promoter and wrestler. So whenever Bill Watts was in charge of WCW, turns out Eric Watts is all over my television, even though he stinks.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Listen, people get mad at that. If I had a wrestling organization and a kid, my kid's wrestling Steve Austin. I could tell you that.
You gotta. What's the reason to get power if not to help him
it's
out?
Not nepotism.
Yeah.
But yeah, Buff stays in the ring more than anybody. He's doing super crazy athletic things. He has that charisma. You know, I'm a big buff guy. But I wish I was a big buff guy, but I don't know. I feel like he could have been utilized more than just being a lackey for the NWO.
I think
it made him a lot of money, so like I don't know if he'd change it for anything, but
I think as a babyface, he had a lot of limitations because he's not on the mic. He is not very charismatic. As a babyface, as a heel, he's easy to hate.
Heel, probably. Yeah, he's easy to hate. He's got a hateable face, but like a memorable hateable face.
Yeah, big top hat. Like
big top hat.
Yeah,
the top hats were fucking good.
Yeah, and so I think could they have done something with him as a babyface? Probably. I think he would still pick the Buff Bagwell path if he had to pick one. I thought this match was okay. I think the Hollywood Blondes are still both wrestling like singles wrestlers. Like they don't have a lot of tag team moves or big time. Look, dude,
big hat.
That guy,
funny, dude.
Yeah, big hat is funny. And they're both really good wrestlers, the Hollywood Blondes. So like when they're in control, the match is pretty good. And then whenever Eric Watts is in control, the match is bad. So
yeah, and he was when Buff is in, Buff can hold his own. Buff is like, it seemed like Buff was like a good like when you would watch it, you're like, oh man, this Bagwell guy is gonna be like they're gonna do something with this guy. And then when the other guy would get in, it's like, oh, this guy's really trying. It's like on The Simpsons when they had all the dogs in the living room, and one of the dogs, they're watching TV, and one of the dogs is like on the TV, like leans up and puts his paws on the TV.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how cute the dog is, and then Snowball walks in and puts her paws on the TV, and Homer yells, "Get that cat out of the
way!" Yeah,
that's Watts.
Yeah, Eric Watts is Snowball too. Yeah. So then at one point, Bagwell goes to do a fisherman suplex to Pillman, and Austin just drops a bomb of an elbow off the top rope onto Buff, and Pillman rolls over and pins him. 16 minutes 34 seconds. This got 3 stars. It's a pretty decent tag match. Like you're gonna, you could find way worse stuff, but it's again mostly looking at like what elements are they adding to the team how's it gelling in real time as they're picking up momentum.
And I'm glad you mentioned like that evolution as a tag team, because I didn't think of it that way. But that is 100% what I observed, because in this match they cheated too much. Like they're like, oh, we're heels, this is what we do. It seems like, and so like every chance they had to cheat, they cheated. Anytime, like, at one point, Eric Watts is Boston crabbing Austin, and Pillman runs in and just kicks him, and like they cheat, they would. That's one thing I hate about tag team wrestling is like whenever you want, you can just go in and break up the pin, and like
Right.
no, the referee every single time is just gonna be like, hey, come on, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's no penalty to keep getting in the ring. I
yeah,
guess you could get disqualified, but it takes an egregious action to make that happen.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like they did it too much. They took too many liberties. It's still a good match. They still were good, but as the years go by, they still cheat, but they cheat in better ways. That's hidden from the ref, or like they do the towel thing, which becomes one of their gimmicks. And they start to get better at it. But like early in this, you can tell they have in their head, we're heels. Heels do these things, and we're checking all the heel boxes.
Yeah. Well, and maybe this is for Pillman too, because he's new to being a heel at this point too. Like he's only ever been a babyface as far as I can see in his career. So he's also learning like the nuances of his new character as they go. This Super Brawl is also notable as it's the first pay-per-view with Eric Bischoff as the executive producer of WCW. This is 1993. Okay. So he had recently gotten the job that Jim Ross wanted, which caused Jim Ross to leave WCW. So
that's crazy that they picked Eric Bischoff over Jim Ross.
Yeah, that's what Jim Ross thought for sure. So
they gave him Bell's palsy, I hear.
Yeah, there's
I'm so mad the right side of my face can't move.
I'm gonna need to start a successful barbecue business, and also I'm gonna wear a toga to WrestleMania 9 now. So we get a little promo. I found a little promo where the Hollywood Blondes are talking about the feud that they start with Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat, because they're the tag team champions. And they've been going all around. They jumped Shane Douglas and hurt his knee, and they've been having matches on house shows and on TV. And so this is supposed to be their last chance at the tag titles, and they're laughing, and they're like, this is the only chance we're going to need. We got them. They're so stupid. And this is where the first use that I found of their catchphrase, your brush with greatness is over, which is a great catchphrase. In my estimation. So it's not a huge, but the brush with greatness line is now here. And I think like both these guys can cut a promo. So it's just a nice little addition to give some more stakes to this tag title match. So the next match we watched was from WCW Power Hour. I believe this might've been worldwide. Whichever one it is. It's Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas, the tag team champions, versus the Hollywood Blondes, March 27th, 1993. We have to talk about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's theme song, dude.
Yeah.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, it's so good.
So
good.
It's called The Dragon.
Yep.
And it's about how Ricky Steamboat is a good family man, and he doesn't cheat on his wife. And that is why you should cheer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. The first line of the song is, he's a man with morals, he's a family man.
Yeah. But just to give everybody a taste.
Yeah. Oh, if you can play,
everybody to...
if you're gonna play a part of it, I have a timestamp that I want you to play.
Okay,
but
where?
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, so just so you know, I'm just gonna pick a random time at the beginning. Yeah. This is what the beat of this song, like this is what this song sounds like. The Family Man song. That's like the detective movie in the 80s when he's like in the dark, like creeping around, you know?
Yeah, it's not. They couldn't use the Beverly Hills Cop music, but they got a guy who heard Beverly Hills Cop's score. and
Yeah.
ask that guy to make it. But he can only do it from memory. He can't even rent Beverly Hills Cop.
He made it more like Cop and a Half.
Yeah.
Which what's the timestamp? 2 minutes and what?
2 minutes 30 seconds.
2 minutes.
Listen to the stank the guy puts on this next phrase. You better believe.
That guy's mad.
And then okay, so there's that part of the song. I'm still on the song. I'm sorry. Then for absolutely no reason at all, it switches like melody and and it starts to talk about how Ricky Steamboat doesn't cheat on his wife, but just so you know, it's not because he couldn't do it, because there are women throwing themselves at Ricky Steamboat all the time. It's that I'm not saying that women don't fall at his feet or whatever, is the lyric. Like, that's got to be Ricky Steamboat's ad. He's like, hey, I need people to know I could be out here crushing if I wasn't married.
They're throwing it at the dragon. They're throwing a line about them throwing it at the dragon. Please.
I need people to understand that the steamboat is a ride that people want to take, and I am above it, and that's the only reason. There's nothing wrong with the dragon. You understand?
And also let them know there's plenty of steam in this boat. Okay.
Yeah, there's we're full speed ahead. Coal is being shoved constantly into the engine of this steamboat. And then the last part of the song, the last part of every verse is it's Ricky Steamboat the Dragon, because they couldn't figure out how to fit Ricky the Dragon Steamboat into the rhyme scheme of the song. It's crazy that this song plays and this guy walks out to it, like as a wrestling theme. And it's crazy that Shane
on his wife,
but he could if he wanted.
He's just pointing at people.
Yeah.
I could have you. I could have you. I could have you.
I saw you at the hotel bar. I saw you at the hotel bar.
Hide your mamas is what I would be saying if I wasn't a family man.
If I wasn't contractually bound through law. And it's crazy that Shane Douglas walks out to this song too. You know what, Ricky? You go ahead. I'm gonna get my own theme song. This has nothing to do with me. I don't want your puritanical stank on what
I will
Steamboat's
cheat a lot.
Yeah, on what Shane Douglas is trying to do.
By the way, for me, Shane Douglas in my head is a heel.
Yeah, this is why
I know two things about Shane Douglas. He's a dickhead and he hates Ric Flair.
Yeah, he hates Ric Flair because of this Shane Douglas.
Because of this.
This Shane Douglas doesn't hate Ric Flair yet.
This Shane Douglas is starting to learn that he hates Ric Flair.
Yeah. So I thought this match was great. I watched it when I was a kid. I remember seeing the title change. I remember watching it because the belts didn't change hands on TV very much, like on not cable or not pay-per-view, because this is just a syndicated show.
Okay.
And so I remember being torn because I was a Brian Pillman fan before he turned heel, because he played for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I was like, he does awesome moves. Then he turned heel, and I was like, I don't like this guy anymore. But maybe I do like this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe I still wanted to be one half the tag
unless.
Yeah. The baby faces in this match, they take like a lot of this match. It's a lot of the Hollywood Blondes just getting their asses served. Which is kind of the formula for the type of heels that they were and the type of tag matches that were common at the time. Like, I think of them as a very Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard style of team, and that's how those guys worked their matches, is that you give a ton to the baby faces, you cheat somehow, and then you do a hot finish. And I thought the way that they cheated with the towel was hilarious. That Brian Pillman has a towel by the ring that he uses to dab his sweat, and then when the ref's not looking, he uses it to choke Shane Douglas, like 2 or 3 times in this match.
And one thing about this match is Ricky Steamboat is sick of these fucking guys.
Yeah,
He hates them.
he's had enough. It's making him almost want to cheat on his wife.
Yeah,
he's that
You're
upset.
making me feel unfaithful, and you guys heard the song.
Yeah, we've been all around the circuit. You know that I'm the dragon. I thought the end of this match was really, really good. Steamboat comes off the top rope with the cross body. That gets a near fall. Then there's all of them fight, and Austin and Douglas end up on the floor, and then Pillman and Steamboat bump heads. So Steamboat falls against the ropes, and then Austin runs up with the belt, clocks him in the back of the head, and pulls Pillman on top of him, and the Hollywood Blondes win the World Tag Team titles at 19 minutes about. And this got 4.5 stars from Dave Meltzer, and I think that's fair. I thought this match was really, really good.
Yeah, it was a great match. And I mean, it's Steamboat. There's Steamboat. You got Austin, and I mean the other two guys, freaking Pillman and Douglas, they know what they're doing. You know what
slouches
I mean? Like,
here either. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Austin does this thing at one point where I can't remember who he does it to. Even they've got him from behind, like they're holding on to him, and he reaches under and grabs their foot and trips them.
Yeah.
And then into an elbow drop. Like,
yeah.
It was pretty cool. Like these guys are like, and one thing, and this gets heightened later on, and particularly in one match. Freaking Steve Austin bumps his ass off. Like,
yeah, I made a note. It's interesting because like a lot of times I forget how great of a wrestler Steve Austin was before he was too low, too goddamn low and dropped on his head. And because he's a bumping machine for these baby faces. And there's a couple, I don't know if it was in this match or one of the other ones, but he does this thing where he leans his opponent against the rope, and then he runs and he goes to jump on him, and he always misses. And he always takes a spectacular bump off the ropes back into the ring.
Dude, this guy hits the ropes a lot. And I feel like Austin watched Flair a lot. Like Flair didn't hit the ropes like Austin did, from the sky, you know?
Right.
But the way that he bumped and the way that like he moves and stuff like that, I feel like there's a lot of Flair. I don't know if Austin said that in the past. I'm sure he has, because everybody said that they watched Ric Flair growing up. But you can see a lot of Flair in the way that Austin wrestles, and I love him for it. Like there's a reason that Ric Flair is one of the greatest of all time. So
next we get the promo that you were talking about, which is the Hollywood Blondes are the people's champions. And
I love a heel calling themselves the people's champion.
Well, they're standing up. What did you say Pillman says? They're the last line of defense.
The last beacon of hope in the wretched refuse of this world. and Austin likens seeing them to seeing the burning bush.
Oh, and then he tells people to reach their hands out like the old evangelists on, the old evangelists on TV.
Reach out, put your hand out, Pillman. We're gonna reach our hands out, and you're gonna touch our hands. You're gonna feel greatness, something that you'll never touch in your life.
The brush with greatness, dude. Yeah,
fuck yeah, dude.
They're like, it's really coming together now, and you can tell like they put the belts on these guys. They're getting over. They work really well as a team, and now the personality stuff is starting to gel. And coalesce. So
I'll even forgive him. I'll forgive him for doing the one guy puts his foot up and the other guy slams the opponent's head into their foot. And I'll forgive him for the rocket launcher.
Yeah, you know? That's
they do enough good that I can't be mad about the rocket launcher.
I forgot that their taunt is also it's the movie camera. The whatever
it's a movie camera, yeah.
Which I also think is pretty ingenious for what they're going for. The third match we watched, so after they beat Douglas and Steamboat, they're like, we're done with you guys. We don't need to wrestle you anymore. Your brush with greatness is over, right? So they agree to have a match against Los Hombres, who are just two dudes in full body luchador costumes.
And it's Dos Hombres, which is just, I believe that translates to two friends.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Dos Hombres. And they start wrestling these guys, and they're like, these guys wrestle like Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas. The audacity.
It's just two men.
Two guys, two dudes, yeah.
Two dudes. That's what it's called.
Versus the two dudes.
They do this one.
Yeah, the mariachi dance.
It's so stupid. I wrote, "Who are these freaking guys?" I couldn't tell at the very first who it was.
So then they're like, we're leaving. This is Steamboat and Douglas, and then Steamboat and Douglas are in the aisleway to stop them. This is a classic wrestling angle where the guy's under the mask and you think it's the guy that's banned or the guy that you didn't want to fight. Turns out to be a different guy. They don't lose to that version of the Dos Hombres, but it's a time limit draw. So then the next week they do a rematch against the Dos Hombres, and now the Hollywood Blondes are taking them more seriously. And so Larry Zbyszko is in this match being overtly racist to the Dos Hombres.
The commentary for both of them. There's one time where one of them is in the corner and he jumps off the rope and throws his ass into Steve Austin, and I think it's Zbyszko. Is it Zbyszko or Schiavone? That's like, is that a Mexican type maneuver?
I believe it's Schiavone says, is that a Mexican type maneuver? And then Larry Zbyszko is like, it's bad enough they're coming here trying to steal our jobs. Now they're trying to take the World Tag Team titles. Like, borders are Larry Zbyszko.
Listen, Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah, for Dos Hombres. This match really isn't anything. It's mostly about the angle. So the Hombres win with a mysteriously familiar looking crossbody off the top rope at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And then Schiavone is immediately like, well, I need to brush up on my Spanish because I got to go interview these two fellas.
Yeah, and everybody watching, well, any smart fan is like, I feel like you're not going to need Spanish for this interview.
Yeah, turns out you might not need Spanish for this. And he asks them if they speak English, and Ricky Steamboat says Paquito.
Yeah,
which is not
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. And then he just takes the mask off. No pomp, no circumstance, no nothing. And he starts cutting a promo about how now he's coming for how they're coming for the Hollywood Blondes, and they're going to beat them because they have a match at Slamboree in a cage. Douglas.
He takes the mask off, cuts his promo, points at Douglas at one point, and says Shane Douglas. Douglas never takes his mask off.
Yeah,
he just keeps looking at the screen with his mask on. Very clear white hands punching each other.
Yeah.
Looking at the screen, never takes a mask off.
No.
Like, listen, they told us not to take the masks off. I ain't taking this mask off.
So I'm going to skip a segment and I'll come back to it because I want to cover the Slamboree cage match first. So this is Slamboree 93, May the 23rd of 1993, and even the Los Hombres. So the announcer is getting ready to be like, "Hey,
Dos Hombres,
or Dos Hombres."
There's two of them.
He's like, their opponents, Dos Hombres, and it has Ricky Steamboat.
You guys are still fucking doing this,
right? They have the chyron up that says Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas, and they're even coming out to Steamboat's theme. But they're dressed as Dos Hombres, and Steamboat gets on the mic and he's like, basically, these are good luck. We won our match last week with them. Psychological warfare. We're gonna wear the luchador masks for this entire match as a way to get in your kitchen, dude. We're getting in your freaking head. The real reason, did you do any research on this?
No.
Okay. That's not Shane Douglas. So Shane, they came up with the Dos Hombres thing. And in the time when they came up with it and Slamboree, Shane Douglas had the realization that he hates Ric Flair, quit WCW.
Was that so? The first time they were the Dos Hombres was it Shane Douglas? Is that why he didn't take the mask off the first time too?
I have no idea. It doesn't
That
really.
has to be not Shane Douglas because there's no
Yeah.
reason else for him to not take his mask off, and he didn't say anything during the promo either.
Yeah. So it's
That's
actually
funny.
it's the Z-Man. The Z-Man
Hell yeah.
is in the mask. So I also like this match isn't as good in my mind as the tag team title match. The cage, having a tag team match in a cage where you still have to make tags is weird to me. I don't love it. Like it
is weird, but I think I just Steve Austin did so well on this cage that I'm happy this was a cage match because Steve I feel like Stunning Steve was once again the star of this match.
Dude, he takes a back body drop where I don't know if he's supposed to land in the ropes. I don't know if he was supposed to land on the cage, but he basically lands on his neck, just short of the ropes. And you can tell that he fucked his back up. He's like, God damn it. Because the rest of the match, he's kind of like, he's got a hitch.
You got these few notes in a row. Douglas, it wasn't Douglas, but whoever, the Z-Man, shoving Austin into the fence 3 times. He just schoolyard pushes him into the fence 3 times. He chucks Austin over his head, and Austin lands on the ropes. That one, Austin landed like his legs on the ropes. He throws him into Austin gets thrown into the fence, bounces off the fence, hits the ropes. And falls to the ground.
Yeah.
They hang Austin upside down by his legs from the cage, and they're beating him up. And then they throw, I guess it's supposed to be Douglas, into Austin, and Austin tries to time it to where he lets himself slip off so the other guy hits the cage. Mistimes it. They both fuck themselves up, and they're laying in a pile of shit. And then Austin gets drop kicked, hits his neck on the ropes. It's like 6 or 5 or 6 notes in a row.
Pillman, not to be outdone, gets gorilla press slammed or thrown into the cage. It's the Z-Man, lifts him up over his head and just chucks him into the side of the cage. And again, it's mostly the Hollywood Blondes getting the shit kicked out of them for most of this. I thought the end of this match was really good. There's one crucial mess up. So finally, Steamboat's like, hey, everybody knows it's me. Guess what? I'm a family man. He fucking takes the mask off.
Yeah. I would never cheat on my wife. But he does it. I have a theory as to why he takes the mask off.
Okay.
Because he climbed to the top of the cage and then took his mask off because he was going to jump off the top of the cage.
Yeah.
And he told whoever wrote that spot, whoever came up with that, or during the planning, he's like, if I'm going to jump off the top of this cage, I'm taking the mask off because ain't no way people are going to think that's anybody but Ricky Steamboat jumping off the top of that cage. I'm getting credit for this shit.
Hombre number 1 is not stealing my valor for jumping off of this cage.
This freaking Z-Man can walk around in perpetuity and tell everybody he jumped off that cage.
Yeah, unless I prove him wrong.
It's me, Ricky Steamboat, jumping off this fucking cage, and I would never cheat on my wife.
It's me, famously monogamous Ricky Steamboat, jumping off the top of this cage. He jumps off the cage. Beautiful crossbody. He's not
really good.
He's not 20 feet in the air, as we have previously discussed. The cages are not that high. But he lands on the Hollywood Blondes. The referee counts to 2. The Blondes kick out. The bell rings.
Yeah, the bell.
That's a bummer. That's a whoopsie.
Fuck.
And it doesn't take all the air out of it, but you can tell everybody in the match is like, oh man.
For a second, it was like, oh no, it completely screwed up that false finish.
Yeah,
and there's just a pin fest. They're just trying to pin the shit out of each other over and over. Afterwards.
That took it from maximum wacky wavy to medium maximum. They got
wavy. The wrong alkalines on that one.
Yeah, he double DDTs the Blondes, and then I thought the finish was kind of inventive. So the baby faces have both the heels in catty corners. And they go to whip them together, and Pillman reverses it and Austin goes running into the Z-Man and just picks him up and fucking stun guns him. And they get out of it. They get the pin. I thought pretty good, like a pretty good match. Not the best of that series of matches that these guys had.
Yeah, I think it was. I thought it was good, and I agree with you on the finish, because the finish is kind of out of nowhere. Like that, I think some people would criticize that finish for not having enough like pomp and circumstance, because you kind of like, I even kind of missed the stun gun and had to go back because there's other things happening in the ring at the time.
Yeah,
but I like finishes like that because it makes it feel like they stole one. You know?
Yeah, and they're the cocky shitty heels. Like the fact that they got away with it, and
exactly.
it kind of shows like these guys might be silly and they might be assholes and whatever, but like if you give them an inch, they can take it, you know, and they'll beat you. Which I thought like that proves like it only takes one mistake on the babyface part, and these guys will jump on it. So the week before Slamboree, Ric Flair, due to contractual obligation, so he left the WWF to go to back to WCW in 1992.
Before we get to, I'm sorry, before we get to this, did you watch before this match?
Yeah, I did. My boy, my main man, Ox Baker, was on.
Ox Baker with a shit-faced Crusher. They had Crusher and Ox Baker as like, I guess the legends, and they were Crusher was like cutting a promo on Ox Baker saying that he'd love to whoop his ass in a steel cage, but he also like started shouting out people like a Diaz brother, like he just did like a long ass like shouting everybody out, and he was so drunk. Oh, it was great. I just wanted to point that out. If you guys watch Slamboree 93 and you get to this match, make sure you watch Ox Baker and Crusher before it, because it's theater.
Yeah, it's because Slamboree was like it was supposed to be like a celebration of the legends in wrestling. So they have like a lot of guys like in the segment after this, the Masked Assassin and Stu Hart are there, and there were some guys in matches even. Some of the older guys like Dory Funk wrestles a match on here. So that's why they were there. But I was fast forwarding to get to the start of the cage match, and I was like, is that goddamn Ox Baker right there?
Yeah.
That's
exactly what happened to me too. I was like, hey, that looks like Fat Anton LaVey. Oh, that's Ox Baker.
And like, the Crusher is like setting up a match that's never gonna happen. Like he's like, I'd love to fight you. Also, shout out to my grandchildren who love watching me on TV.
Dude, and he fumbles over his grandchildren's names, and like it's great. It's great.
So the week before Slamboree, Ric Flair, who has returned to WCW, but he can't wrestle because he's still under contract to WWF at this point. He's still on his no compete part of his contract. He's running. I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be a talk show, but it's like a late night show or maybe a daytime show, but the set is weird. It's called Flair for the Gold, and it's like it looks like a retirement villa.
It's almost like a sitcom set. Like it's interesting.
Yeah, and he's there with Arn Anderson, and Anderson's next to the bar in a sweater, and the crowd noise is canned, definitely, right?
I think so. I was thinking the same thing, but the thing about that though is it's such a bad decision,
right?
To can, like, because like so there's constant crowd noise. Like people are yelling like a wrestling match is going on.
Yeah.
It's like it's chaotic noise, and it completely drowns out the Hollywood Blondes part of this whole segment. Like it kind of makes sense when who's the woman that comes in?
Missy Hyatt.
Missy Hyatt. When she comes in, it kind of makes sense because it's like a Jerry Springer-esque thing, and it makes sense for people to be yelling and making noise.
Or it's got that sitcom like, ooh, like, you know, whenever somebody gets discovered for doing something bad on like Family Matters.
It's just it just drowns out the whole Hollywood Blondes part of this.
Well, and it like recycled. That's why I thought it was canned, is because it's like the same guys going whoop like every 15 seconds or so. But
and that's Flair.
Yeah, yeah. And that man is in fact Ric Flair. Um, so they start the show, and there's Fifi the maid gets a credit here, and she is just there for no real reason at all, except for Flair to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna give the men what they want. Maid who no one knows or cares about. Come do a quick walk.
Yeah.
That'll get the blood flowing on TBS. You know, it's and then Missy Hyatt, who I was gonna look it up and then I didn't because I don't. Who cares? Uh, I don't know what her connection to the show is, but she comes out and she's pissed at Flair and Anderson for leaving her on the side of the road. So she starts, like you said, doing some like catty Jerry Springer shit about how Arn Anderson could never be the 60-minute man and how Fifi the maid needs to lose weight.
And let's be honest, man. Who could be the 60-minute man? Like, there's something wrong.
That's Flair,
You're-
dude. That's his whole thing.
People are getting bored by then, though.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, it's more self-indulgent at that point. Who's it for?
And,
You know.
Arn was like, Missy, we know about your talents, and you're a pretty good journalist too. Like, it was just very
Yeah.
90s bullshit.
And
Like,
then she throws her shoe at Flair and Anderson, and then Flair says to Arn Anderson, "Are you all right?" And Anderson goes, "You said bottoms up. I guess she took it literally. What does that mean?"
there's multiple, and I love Arn Anderson for this. There's multiple Arn Anderson what does that means in this.
Yeah.
There's another one a little bit later on, actually coming up pretty soon. But I one thing about this is we've seen a good amount of Arn Anderson, and the more I see of him, the more I understand the appeal of Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Because he is just like a tough uncle.
Yeah, he's just your
like,
uncle.
Yeah.
Or my uncle, yeah.
Exactly. And he's just loyal to Flair, and if you insult him, he's gonna stand on business. Like,
dude, he's
I like Arn Anderson.
He's your dad if your dad also was a pro wrestler. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like he's got.
If my dad was as big as his mouth is,
Yeah, and could do a DDT. That's
can do a DDT. That's Ricky.
So they invite the Hollywood Blondes out, and immediately the Hollywood Blondes are just being insufferable dickheads to Ric Flair. Like Austin does the cool guy thing where he goes to shake Flair's hand, and then he's like, "Oh, I didn't hurt you there, did I?" When he squeezes his hand. It's so funny. And then Flair starts talking to him, and Austin is like, "Man, we've been all over the world. We've been to all different sets. This is nice. This is classy." And then Pillman goes, "Actually, it feels kind of like a museum in there, in here. It feels kind of stuffy." And then Austin hits him with the line, is like, "Yeah, how much you pay for that old antique back there?" And Pillman whispers to him, "Steve, that's double A." In this segment, do you want to guess how old Arn Anderson is?
It's definitely younger than I would think. I mean, I if I'm looking at him, I think 46 years old.
Mm-hmm. He's younger than you, Andrew.
Oh my god!
Or he might be the same age as you. He's 34 in this.
I'll be 35 next month.
In this segment.
That sucks, man.
That's a hard.
Sucks.
A hard-ridden 34, dude.
That's a hard 34.
Yeah.
That is very much. That is a 1993 ass 34.
That's I ran in the 80s with the Four Horsemen 34 ass body. So they're just like every chance they get, they're reminding Flair how old he is and how washed up he is, and they're like, "You used to run with a crew in the 80s. I was reading in the ancient history books." Something, the Four Clovers or the Four Clo, and Flair's just going, it's the Four Horsemen. We were
yeah, Flair played it pretty well, man.
Yeah,
because Flair, like, the whole time's like he's like trying to be cool and like giving him a pass on stuff, and like okay, oh my god, look at this dude. This is 34-year-old. That's 34-year-old Arn Anderson.
Look, the problem with Arn Anderson is that he's looked 56 since 1986.
That's crazy that man is 34 years old, and it's partially the glasses.
Yeah.
But just that's not a 34-year-old man.
No,
that is a man who comes and gets his 22-year-old daughter from the bar because she snuck out and he called all over the place and found out where she was.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
she snuck into the American Legion Hall, and he's got to go get her.
One of his buddies called and said, "Hey, you know, Stephanie's out here."
Yeah, this is a 34-year-old man who was raised by a father who lived through WW2, the big one. You know,
100%.
like
How old is Flair in this?
Flair is 44, and Flair looks great by compare. Like, that's not a bad looking Ric Flair.
No, I mean they look the same age, him and Arn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Also, good shot of Steve Austin wearing his Canadian tuxedo, denim on denim.
Oh, dude,
for Flair
Steve
for the
Austin looks like Ken, Ryan Gosling.
Gosling.
Like isn't that the Ken outfit?
Yeah, Gosling's a coward. He didn't want to say where his real influence came from.
Yeah,
I was watching Slamboree '93.
Slamboree '93. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, so they're just riding Flair, and eventually they're like, "Look, at Slamboree, through our generosity, we're gonna fly in all these legends, give them a buffet meal, you know, give them a nice send off. We're the team of the '90s." And he's like, "You're gonna be there too, Flair, with Arn Anderson, who doesn't miss the buffet, obviously." And finally, Flair, yeah. I didn't even think about it.
Listen, dude, it's the same thing.
It's so close. Yeah, Stone Cold Ken Austin.
Stone Ken Steve Austin.
And eventually Flair fires up at him and he's like, "You want to go?" And they're like, "When are you going to take the mothball covered tights and the robe made of pterodactyl feathers and, you know, bring it out?" And eventually Flair gets into yelling mode and they leave the set. Pretty good, I thought.
Because Flair's like trying to keep his cool the whole time, but he's like, "Listen, we can go right now if you're going to keep talking like this on my show." And then Arn Anderson takes his watch off and puts it on the table. Like they're slowly taking clothes off because they're either going to fight or make out right now.
Yeah. And the line is so thin.
Yeah, exactly.
Razor
and
thin.
Flair like is keeping his cool until, I don't know why this is a trigger. Maybe it's a sponsor. Brian Pillman says the word Geritol.
Yeah.
And Flair's like, "Geritol, you son of a bitch!" And like goes out to beat his ass.
Well, Flair might have been using Geritol and he was sensitive about it. They might
have. That might be it. But they might have planned. I'm guessing based on how much he blew up after hearing the word Geritol, they might have backstage been like, "Okay, like it's gonna ramp up, and then I'm gonna say a line about Geritol, and that's the cue to go." Because as soon as he says Geritol, Flair goes from like a 3 to like an 11.
Well, and this works so well because in Ric Flair's most cartoonish life as a pro wrestler, like he's an 11 all the time. The engine is never not in the red line, you know, and that's if you're one tempo, it's too monotone. But there are layers to it, like you're saying. Like he's trying to calm Arn Anderson down. He's going like, "Hey man, we got a good show. It's a hot show. I invited you guys. I respect you guys. I'm not trying to, you know."
And he's smiling. He's even laughing at some of the stuff they
say. Because he goes, Pillman tells him, "Before I blow up the pacemaker," and Flair kind of laughs and goes, "Blows up the pacemaker, huh?"
You want me to beat your ass, don't you?
Yeah. And the thing, the thing I like the most is Pillman goes, "How many times you win the world title, Rick? What, like 6, 7 times?" And Flair goes, 9.
That's when Flair starts to turn a little bit.
Yeah, he's like
that's like the first indicator that he's pissed.
You know how many times I've been the world champion.
It was 9 times.
Yeah,
it was 9 times. It's on my jacket.
I'm known as the 9-time champ, just so you're aware. So I thought this was pretty good. It's a good kickoff to the feud. And then the next segment we watched was, I don't know that this is the first parody in wrestling history. I won't go as far as to say that because I haven't seen everything. I'm sure somebody did it before, but this is one of the first ones I remember. And it's the Flair for the Old, which I think is a great idea. Ric Flair is so serious. Arn Anderson is so serious. The way to get heat on these guys and to make yourself more hated is to make fun. You're slaughtering the sacred cow. You know, like you don't make fun of Ric Flair. He's the cool guy.
So Kevin, are we saying Kevin Nash stole this?
I don't know that he stole it. I don't think so, because the DX and the NWO, like they all loved doing parody.
Yeah, but they did because they did the same thing to the same guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, essentially. But I don't think they stole it. You know, that might be parallel
Okay.
thinking.
Okay.
But Pillman comes out. He's in a wig and he's got a bathrobe on, and he's like shaking the whole time.
It's
And
an awful wig too. It's
yeah,
not even close.
not even close. Which is part of the disrespect to Ric Flair. And then they
My hair does not look like that. You son of a bitch.
That's the thing he's the maddest about. That and the Geritol.
Yeah.
He's very proud of the way his hair lays. You know,
what if he was sponsored?
And then they haven't made.
Ric Flair is sponsored by a different denture glue company. So when they say Geritol, it's like, you're costing me money, you son of a bitch.
You know that I do Ovaltine.
Yeah.
They have a maid named Pate, and I assume that's supposed to become some kind of joke, but I don't really get what the joke is there necessarily, other than she's a little fat. She's a little fatter. Right. She's not. If the Ric Flair maid is supposed to be hot, which I'm not saying that she is, then this is supposed to be the exaggerated version of that.
Yeah.
So
her name was her name might be Patty.
Yeah.
So they called this one Pate to be like a little like a food reference.
Yeah. Pillman calls out Austin. Austin comes out. He does the same line. Oh, whenever he's introducing Ric Flair, he goes, live tonight, the 5 or 6 or 7-time champion, Ric Flair. And then Austin comes out, he starts cutting a promo, and Pillman keeps falling asleep during the promo. And he starts talking about all the pills he needs. He needs nitro for his heart. He needs something else to put some lead in his pencil. And then eventually Arn Anderson shows up and confronts them. And then I forget what leads to. Oh, he said, Steve Austin says, the last time that I saw something that fat and round, it had an apple in its mouth. It was being barbecued.
It was being roasted over a fire.
Roasted over fire with an apple in its mouth. To which Arn Anderson gives the eternal retort. Go ahead, Andrew.
You like barbecue? And then he swings at him.
And then
that's the second, like, what did Arn Anderson mean by that? It's like one of those, like, you stump the tough guy, so like he just swings, like, you like barbecue?
Whatever you say you are, I am. It's the same energy as who was the bowler?
That is, oh God, what is his name? I am so angry I'm forgetting his name. He's the only famous bowler.
That's the quote, right? Whatever you say are, I am.
Whoever you are, I am. What is it?
Whoever you say,
it's Pete Weber. Who do you think you are, I am?
Yeah. Same energy, where it's just, like you said, like when you stump a tough guy or a dumb guy and they don't have anything to say and they just say something back to you that doesn't mean anything, but he just wants to fight. And then they have like a nice little brawl. But then Pillman,
there's a ring right there.
Yeah.
The ring is like Arn swings, grabs Austin, turns around, and they're in the ring.
Yeah.
Like
it's all,
I didn't realize they were so close
it's all
to the
in
ring
one spot,
you know.
And then Pillman ends up hitting him with the cane, and they beat up Arn. Which leads. So I guess my question is, Flair for the old, wrestling funny, actually funny. What's the scale? Because
it's mostly it's go ahead.
I think that it surpasses greatly. It surpasses greatly the wrestling funny hurdle. It is funny for a wrestling segment. It's actually clever. The things that are shitty about it are shitty on purpose, like the wig. It is slightly real funny because there's not a lot of punchlines in it. It's all sort of like it's all just wrestling stuff. It's not jokes necessarily that are great to me. So it crosses both bars, but in the world of real funny, it's not as funny as it is wrestling funny.
Yeah, it's much more wrestling funny, and like wrestling funny wise, it is all of it's good like for wrestling. And it's over the top, it's very stupid. Like you said, it's not very punchline heavy, so you can't call it like laugh out loud. The thing that got me the most in this entire thing was Arn Anderson saying "you like barbecue" and then just throwing a giant left hand. And I don't think
Yeah.
that was on purpose. I don't think that was intentionally nonsensical.
Right.
But if it was genius. And Arn Anderson is like the Norm Macdonald of wrestling. But it's I don't think it was. So like I agree with you. I think it's certain aspects of it were kind of real funny, but most of it was just wrestling funny, which is still good, still a positive thing.
Which still works.
Yeah.
So the next match we get is Arn Anderson and Ric Flair versus the Hollywood Blondes for the World Tag Team titles at Clash of the Champion 23. This is a 2 out of 3 falls match. This is Ric Flair's first match back in WCW after his sojourn to the WWF. Michael Buffer is here, who the feelings I have made known, the lesser of the Buffers to me.
Yep.
He says Ric Flair has wrestled over 6,000 matches.
I made a note of that as well.
Which is not a thing I can necessarily refute. I don't think that that's true.
Yeah, I did the math, and it would be really hard. That is one match every day for 16 and a half years. So how long had Flair been wrestling by then?
Let's see. We'll go to Ric Flair. I believe he started wrestling in like 1972 or 1973.
Ric Flair, born 1949, starting wrestling 1972. Yeah, he attended his first wrestling camp in 71. So 72. So he'd been wrestling for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Is this post plane crash?
This is post plane crash. You also have to factor in Japan. You remember 2 matches a night?
Yep. He could fly back and forth.
Yep. Matinees on 2 matches on Sunday. You know, he used to say, I think he said he used to wrestle 8 matches a week because he'd wrestle every night and then twice on Sunday.
That might have just been a thing,
right?
I'm
Sunday, just saying, that I don't know that it's this. That is
Were they selling tickets every night?
Well, he's moving
he was
around.
traveling.
Yeah,
he's traveling.
I still don't think so because in his early career, he's definitely not putting those numbers up. You know,
yeah.
He's not the.
It's definitely, I'd say it's very easily thousands.
Yeah,
but like 6,000 is a bold claim.
Now, a much more audacious claim is that the Hollywood Blondes have defended their tag team titles over 100 times, which is a thing Michael Buffer says. At this point, they had been the World Tag Team Champions for about 2.5 months.
It's very funny.
So, but this is before you could really, apply a lot of logic to these things. You could just say stuff.
It's a very good heel thing to fucking lie about that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, if you're just, I guess if the belief is that you're just turning in your own stats, and you're like, Monday,
that's what
we beat Dos Hombres. Tuesday, Dos Hombres.
Had them just walk up to Michael Buffer and hand him the card to say,
yeah,
and then it says they have, including beating Ric Flair's ass in the locker room before this match.
We count that. If I do a drop kick, we count it.
Prove it didn't happen.
I really, really enjoyed this match. I remember as a kid, I begged my mom to let me stay up to watch this match live because it was
really,
yeah. I was like, please, I got to see the Hollywood Blondes versus the Horsemen. And
did she let you?
No, she did not. So, because they were
God
doing.
Damn it, Kathy!
God damn it, Kathy! It's the 80s. It's the team of the 80s versus the team of the 90s, Kathy. don't you understand what's at stake?
Little mullet-headed Dusty.
Yeah, this is This might have been after I called the cops because she went to the grocery store and didn't come back at the time she told me that she would, and I thought she got kidnapped. And so,
Listen, you care about your mama.
look, the cops are who find people, and then they were like, "Are you here alone?" And I was like, "I may have miscalculated."
Oh man,
What's gonna happen?
now Kathy might be in some
Yeah,
some deep water.
she showed up right as the cops were there to talk to me, and so
Yeah.
I think they were like, "Look, you gotta, not do that." And she was like, "Why did you
Can't-
call the cops?" And I was like, "You were gone. What am I supposed to think happened to you? Only two things could happen: you come back on time, or you've been brutally murdered." Which two?
Yeah.
Only two options on the table.
And you were gone. Macho Man got bit by a snake.
Yeah, my world's topsy turvy. There's a voodoo priest who put a hex on the Ultimate Warrior. Like a lot of bad shit is happening in the world right now.
I'm stressed out.
Yeah, I want to see the Hollywood Blondes versus Flair and Anderson. It's crazy to see Ric Flair and Steve Austin in the ring together, because this is one of the few times that they ever wrestled, and they never wrestled when Steve Austin was Steve Austin. So this is like a weird kind of thing to observe.
And this is when I noticed their similarities too.
Yeah,
like a lot of the ways they get heat is similar. Like Austin was very punch heavy, like Flair was, and like getting guys in the corners and working their body, and like not working too fast. And Austin like was a really good. They're both really good athletes, but they're not like super dynamic, explosive, jumpy athletes.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to watch.
The crowd in this match is insane. The people in this, they want blood from the Hollywood Blondes. They're chanting for Flair. We want Flair chants. Austin does a really cool thing that made me laugh in this match again, where he has Arn Anderson on the rope and he goes to do the thing where he's going to jump on him. Anderson moves, but Austin takes the rope and then bounces off and lands on his feet and kind of ha-has at Arn Anderson, and then Arn Anderson immediately DDTs him. Like he just puts him down.
And then the match just starts with the older guys like working over the young guys, like teaching them a lesson. It's like Secondhand Lions.
Yeah.
When Robert Duvall gets in that bar fight.
Yeah.
It was like that.
It was
basically.
Well, and they're
call me old again.
They're chopping the shit out of each other. Like Pillman throws a mean chop, and so him and Flair are going at each other. I really enjoyed the end of the first fall, which is like Ric Flair comes off the top rope and it works because he's a babyface, so he's able to actually do it. Up is down.
He doesn't know what to do when those things land.
Cats are dogs, dogs are cats. Right as Arn Anderson,
up is down.
Yeah, right as Arn Anderson is going to do the hot tag to Flair, he gets his knee clipped. So he makes the tag, but now his knee's fucked up. And then Flair gets the first fall off of a flying forearm, which again is like a big WCW NWA thing where like you don't win with your finish necessarily. Like you kind of catch a guy and beat him if it's a big match. So that wins the first fall for them. And like you had said, in the first fall, it's like mostly the Horsemen are taking these guys to task for all the shit they've talked, but they hurt Arn Anderson in the first fall. And so the second fall is like mostly the Hollywood Blondes working over Arn Anderson, working over Flair. And then
it was very funny that when Flair got the pinfall, the first one, they had to do a TV break.
Yeah.
And when they come back, Shivani's like, man, the entire break, Ric Flair was just tending to Arn Anderson. What was he doing? How short was this break? Was it just 3 minutes of him asking him how his knee's doing?
No, he's doing the thing from Karate Kid, dude, where he warms up his hand to put it on the knee to fix it through magic.
All right.
No. I'm gonna put the knee back in, Arn, and he's like, I'm begging you not to. Please don't touch me.
No, I know how to do this. I've wrestled 6,000.
Yeah, you're not a doctor. Don't touch my leg.
I tell you what, if one of these motherfuckers says Geritol one more goddamn time,
I'll wrestle this whole match. I'll wrestle this whole match by myself. He's got bourbon that he's trying to coax Anderson back to the ring with. They do a hot tag.
Arn's like, just Just let it touch my
Yeah,
lips.
I just
let
needed
it
to
touch my lips.
just a very tip. They do a hot tag to Arn Anderson, which I found interesting because I don't consider Arn Anderson to be the fiery babyface, but he makes a really good comeback, and the crowd is into it. He hits a phenomenal spine buster. If you're talking Arn
Yeah.
Anderson, you're talking phenomenal spine busters.
And the crowd just loves these two guys and hates the Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah.
And like they have made themselves so hateable, which is good. Obviously, that's what they're trying to do. But like they love Ric Flair so much. Early on in the match, Arn is in the ring, and they just keep chanting, "We want Rick, we want Rick, we want Rick." And Flair's rock hard standing there in the corner.
I don't need
like damn straight you want Rick.
I don't
over
need
the hill my ass.
I don't need no blood thinners. and look, you heard my theme song. It ain't no Ricky the Dragon shit. I'll take every one of your wives. They clip Arn Anderson's knee again, and then Tony Schiavone makes a reference to Jurassic Park, which is the biggest movie in the country, circa June of 1993. He says, when there's blood in the water, it's like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. That's not how the T-Rex hunts, Tony Schiavone. He doesn't care about that.
He's waiting for the blood to be in the water.
Yeah.
If as long as there's no blood interacting with water and you stand still, a T-Rex can't fuck with you at all. He can't find you.
I don't know if you watched the movie, Tony. Their hunting is based on visual acuity. Jeff,
I don't know if you watched the movie. They are terrestrial.
Yeah, Sam Neill very clearly says that if you don't move, they can't see you. You're thinking
you can't swim with those little tiny arms.
You're thinking of Jaws, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
So I was trying to think of like what are some other references Tony Schiavone could have made at the time, because it's very clearly a like, hello children, here's I'm hip, I'm with it, a ducka 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 ducka.
The horsemen hunt in packs, much like Velociraptor.
It's not the one that you see that you should be concerned about. It's the one from the side. Perhaps Arn Anderson, the ligaments will get stretched so much that they'll come back too tight, much like the Rookie in Rookie of the Year, if you've seen that film, which is also number 5 at the box office this weekend. They are definitely harshing his grindage, to quote Pauly Shore from the Motion Picture Son-in-Law. Not sure if you've seen that one, Mr. Ventura. Pretty funny. His name's Crawl. They call him Crotch.
The dad always accidentally calls him Crotch.
Yeah. They've made allusions to the body type of one Arn Anderson. One might say that he looks like a whale, perhaps an orca whale. A free willy, if you will.
A free willy, if you will.
If you will.
Like the popular motion picture. He also it could have been like any woman that won't follow Ric Flair to the dressing room after this match is a clever girl.
Yeah.
As they say in the major motion picture Jurassic
Park. Smash motion picture Jurassic Park. So they do another hot tag, an even hotter tag to Flair after the T-Rex attack on Arn Anderson. Yeah. And then Flair's going for the figure 4 when Barry Windham runs out to attack Ric Flair, which causes a disqualification, and the Horsemen win 2 falls to 0, but they don't win the belts because the second fall was by DQ, which doesn't make any sense. There should be a third fall in that instance.
You should just restart.
Well, they won 2 falls to 0, I guess, but like,
well, it doesn't count as a fall.
Right. Like, why? What would have stopped the Hollywood Blondes from just getting a chair and bludgeoning someone to get disqualified if they can't lose the belts that way?
I mean, that's the thing in every freaking title match.
I guess
they literally could just walk away and show everybody their butt.
Yeah.
You know.
So I thought this match, like, I haven't watched this match in a long time. I thought this was really great. This got 4 stars from Dave Meltzer. I think the Blondes are in like full great tag team mode, and Flair and Anderson are great counterpoints to them, especially the styles that they wrestle. Really enjoyed this match. Wish it had a better finish, obviously, but I thought it was pretty good.
I agree, and we saw a Flair bump. Pillman chucks Ric Flair into the corner, and because Brian Pillman, he should have done his homework.
Right.
He was so focused on whether or not he could throw Ric Flair into the corner. He didn't consider whether or not he should throw Ric Flair into the corner, because Ric Flair goes upside down off the turnbuckle, chops Brian Pillman right in his stupid face because Pillman comes running, and then he fucks Steve Austin up with a chop. I think he actually hit him in the face with the chop.
He was so fired up, because Chaos Theory will tell you that no matter how many times you do the same thing, a new probability enters every single time. So Flair goes into that corner a million times. One of those times he's going to flip over, be able to hit a chop off somebody, as posited by popular chaos magician, mathematician Dr. Ian Malcolm in the Major Motion Picture Jurassic Park. I don't know if you're familiar. So next up, this is madness. So they move on to a feud. Flair moves on to feud with Barry Windham. So Arn Anderson, because at the end of this, Barry Windham and the Hollywood Blondes start fucking up Arn Anderson and Ric Flair, and Paul Roma, famous Four Horsemen, Paul Roma, jumps out.
No, I always think Four Horsemen when I think Paul Roma.
Yeah, jumps out and starts helping, and so he had recently been added to the Four Horsemen, so he starts teaming with Arn Anderson, and at this point, WCW is doing tapings at Universal or at Disney, in Florida, like the soundstage at Disney.
Was this one of those?
No. This Clash of Champions isn't, but this information's important.
That was Clash of Champions. Yeah.
So at the Disney tapings, the upside is they get paid to do it, and they have a new audience every hour that comes in that's excited to see wrestling. But Mick Foley's famous for saying, like, it was the most antiseptic place to do wrestling because none of the people there, you're not sure you're getting any real fans. Like, it's just guys. It's just guys at the theme park. And so they had a sign up in the corner that said boo or boo or cheer, and they would just turn it on for whatever the crowd was supposed to do in that moment. Like, so it sounded like you were getting great reactions, but none of it was organic, right?
Yeah.
But to save money, they would film like 3 months of programming at a time for it to come out on the syndicated television. So if you went to one of these tapings, you could pretty much tell what was going to happen for the next 3 months of programming because they had to film all of it so far in advance. And it had come out in the Dave Meltzer newsletter that the Four Horsemen were going to win the tag team titles. That Roma and Anderson were going to beat the Hollywood Blondes, win the tag titles. So everybody assumed that at the next pay-per-view, which was Beach Blast, that the Four Horsemen were going to beat the Hollywood Blondes. And WCW was pissed about this, so they were like, screw that. We're going to have the Horsemen lose as a surprise at this pay-per-view. And so actually the Hollywood Blondes beat them at Beach Blast, which is a match we didn't watch because it's like 30 minutes long and it's all right, but it's not important.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But what becomes important is right after that, Brian Pillman hurts his ankle. And because they were like, we can have the Blondes win at Beach Blast, and then at the next Clash of Champions they could drop the belts to the Four Horsemen because that doesn't mess up the scheduling of the tapings by what we do for the syndicated TV.
Yeah.
So they're like, haha, put one over on you. But then Pillman gets hurt. So that leads us to the last match we watched, which is Paul Roma and Arn Anderson versus the Hollywood in quotes blondes at Clash of the Champions 24 because they have Lord Steven Regal substitute for Brian Pillman because they have to get these belts off of the Hollywood blondes for the next months of television to make any sense.
Yeah, and I was getting everything ready for when I watched this match. So like I'm like, a few minutes into the match, and I'm finishing my notes and stuff, and I look up and William Regal is on my screen.
Yeah.
And I went, what the hell? What did I miss?
Yeah, and it's like actually at this point in the taping schedule, the Horsemen had already lost the belt to the Nasty Boys. So we're 2 title changes ahead of where the live television is by comparison.
And the Nasty Boys are, oh God, I always go to Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge, but it's not. It's Jerry Saggs and Brian Knobbs.
There it is.
Look at me.
Brian Knobbs is not a Public Enemy. So so that's how we end up here. And it's like, it's kind of interesting to see William Regal. He's Lord Steven Regal here. He's team with Austin. To me, this match is okay, but you could tell like nobody's really got their hearts in this thing. And Austin and Regal aren't a tag team, so they don't have any real chemistry together. But they have to do this finish because they got to get the belts off the Hollywood Blondes. I will say that in spite of this, Steve Austin is still bumping all over the place. The man's a maniac and a true professional.
He was good in everything. I can't believe, like I wrote like, how do you take this guy? And I know what your answer is going to be, but how do you take this guy and make him the ringmaster?
Yeah, and
the answer to that is by never watching any of his matches before you make him the ringmaster.
Yeah. Jim Ross got Steve Austin hired. Like, he recommended him to Vince, and then he was like, he's a really great technical wrestler. And Vince was like, oh, then he's the master of the ring. He'll be the ringmaster. And it was like immediately death. Jim Ross was like, God damn it, dude.
God, he's going to bury this fucking guy. I hate Vince. I hate him.
I almost hate him as much as Eric Bischoff, who stole my job. And isn't even qualified to do it. Much like Ned, Ned, the incompetent IT guy from the most popular film of 1993, Jurassic Park. Have you heard of it?
You found it.
Yeah.
You found it. You found it.
I can't remember his last name. That's what.
I don't know. Yeah. I never knew his last
Newman.
name.
Goddamn Newman.
Ned Newman.
He gets eaten by a Dilophosaurus. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen the film Jurassic Park, famed.
Oh man, it was in my queue.
Yeah, I was putting it on next. So there's a miscommunication. Imagine that, between Steve Austin and Steven Regal's butler William, that leads to Arn Anderson rolling up Steve Austin, and the Horsemen win the tag team titles. 9 minutes 52 seconds. This got 3 stars. Again, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing spectacular here. Other than, again, Arn Anderson getting the hot tag, and Arn Anderson is, to this group of people, like a white hot baby face. Like, this is a guy they want to cheer, which is interesting considering Arn Anderson's career. So this event is overshadowed. If you didn't think they were snake bitten enough, their tag team champion fucks his ankle up, so he cannot perform. This is the debut of the Shockmaster. It's gonna shock the world, baby.
It was a creation that was doomed from the beginning.
Yeah,
much like the giant dinosaur park in the Hollywood blockbuster Jurassic Park.
One might say that the hubris of WCW to assume that they could just drop those tag team titles at any point that they want is a parallel to the hubris of man in the blockbuster film Jurassic Park. Is Eric Bischoff John Hammond? I will let you decide, listener.
Yeah, does putting a stormtrooper helmet, a sequined stormtrooper helmet on Tugboat make him the Shockmaster? Just as does creating a dinosaur from DNA that you pulled out of a mosquito make it a real dinosaur?
Oh, that's for the theologians to decide. Far be
That's
it
a
from me.
question for the history books.
Yeah. Far be it from me. Greater thinkers than me will need to attack that question. So after they drop the belts, um, Pillman's still injured, so they kind of give Austin a little bit of a solo push. He wrestles for the U.S. title, but loses at that Halloween Havoc. And then they put him back together for some tag matches against like some jobber guys. There's a brief interview segment.
They put Pillman and Austin back together?
Yeah, when Pillman comes back, initially they put him back together. And that's where this interview segment comes from, where the four horsemen of Arn Anderson and Paul Roma are talking. They've already lost the belts to the Nasty Boys, but they're talking about how the Hollywood Blondes called them too fat and too stupid. And so Arn Anderson is saying he's not refuting that either of those claims are true or were true. He's like, I must have slimmed down and he must have smartened up because now we just won our match or whatever. And like, why not just say I'm not fat and he's not stupid?
I've never been fat and he's never been stupid. You are admitting to previously being fat and stupid.
And the Hollywood Blondes come out and they say, there's so much left to do, and we're a long way from the end of this story, which unfortunately they are wrong about. And that leads to our final segment, which is a jobber match against the Chris's, Chris Sullivan and Chris Kern. They dominate this match, obviously, and then they hit to finish it, they hit a double splash off the top rope that they are calling the Atomic Blonde for the win, which looked pretty cool. And then Colonel Rob Parker, classic snake oil salesman manager, comes out and he's saying that he's the one who got Steve Austin the U.S. title shot, and he's like, great job beating both those guys by yourself, Steve. And he's like, this guy's going to be a star. I always put my money on the right horse. I want you to come with me. And then Pillman is like, what about me? And essentially Rob Parker is like, if you were a horse, I'd take you out and shoot you because you got a bad wheel. And you're not worth the...
He starts talking about secretariat.
Yeah, it's like, you're not worth the investment, all this shit. And so Pillman attacks Rob Parker, and then this guy that's been Steve Austin's best friend, it's his tag partner. They've been the champs. He, for really no reason at all, just attacks Brian Pillman, beats the dog shit out of him, gives him a stun gun on the rail, and leaves with Colonel Robert Parker. And that's it. That's the end of the team.
You don't beat up the Colonel.
Yeah, don't touch a Colonel.
What if he thought that was the Colonel?
Maybe... this man is responsible for 21 herbs and spices. I can't.
Yeah, there's a goddamn American icon. You show some respect.
I can't let you overstep like the science gone mad in popular 1993 film Jurassic Park. So they of course feud, but the feud is really lame, and it's not like they never have a great like blow off match. There's stipulation matches about if Pillman wins, he gets to put a chicken suit on Colonel Rob Parker, and it's mostly played for comedy, which is unfortunate. And then Steve Austin does move into the upper mid card. He wins the U.S. title. Pillman gets demoted essentially, and he's just kind of in the mid card after this until he turns heel again in '95 and joins the Horsemen when they turn heel. But it's
God, nothing is sacred. Huh?
No, yeah, well, the enemy of my enemy. So
that's like if Chris Pratt decided to start helping the military
He thought the Indominus
domesticate
Rex was good.
velociraptors. Yeah.
Like if rogue mathematician Ian Malcolm decided that he would sign off on the park from the popular film Jurassic Park. Yeah, I just like so all this stuff takes place within a year, essentially. The entire run of the Hollywood Blondes is like 10 months. The this is all 1993. They win the tag titles in March. They drop them in August.
Yeah, I was listening to Jim Cornette talk about it the other day, and he seemed to. I thought he said it was like 6 months that these guys were together.
That they were really on top was about 6 months.
Okay, where they actually let them spread their wings a little bit.
Yeah, and it sucks that in their final, because the one critique that I have of the team is like, for me, a great tag team has like they have a cool look, they've got the promo, they've got like a synergy, and they've got a cool finisher. And the Hollywood Blondes never had a cool like double team finisher that they ever used.
Yeah, they were trying out the rocket launcher, which I'm glad they never figured out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they never really, and I'm okay with a tag team like not having one as long as both guys are good. Like I think these guys could have been a really good in terms of, well, they were really good, but you know what I mean, like remembered as a historic tag team. But I'm glad they weren't. I'm glad they broke up.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought experiment, because Austin is in the mid card. He wins the U.S. title. He gets injured, and then he leaves He gets fired by Bischoff, and then that's whenever he ends up in ECW. He goes to the WWF. I don't know if you heard, he might have sold a T-shirt or two in his time.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah,
and it's really interesting to think if they had kept the Hollywood Blondes together, they would have just kept having great matches and been an awesome team. And then Austin doesn't have that singles match. Maybe he doesn't get hurt. Like, it's a crazy sort of sliding
super butterfly effect.
Yeah, like a sliding door situation. They were ranked
like you know, if one dinosaur, if that mosquito hadn't bit that one dinosaur, you know,
that's.
But the question that I have is that this is what I wrote this down like kind of later on in the thing, but like when you are what, 10 in 93?
I'm 8/9.
So you're 4 years later, you're 12/13.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold starts to take over the world.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy that it was only 4 years, by the way. When that started to happen, did you see this as that stunning Steve Austin, or did you completely separate the two guys in your head?
Well, I knew that he was stunning Steve, like when they entered, because they did a bunch of vignettes for the Ringmaster where Ted DiBiase was like, "You'll never believe my new guy. It's the Ringmaster. He's great," but he never said Steve Austin. He's like, it's a mystery. And then the week that Steve Austin debuted, I'm like, oh, well, that's Steve Austin. Like, that's stunning Steve. Because I never saw the ECW Steve Austin, obviously, at that particular point. And then I guess it didn't really like. I thought of him as a completely different guy, I guess, because he was cutting promos differently, and now he's Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I'm just like, I'm 12, so I just accept. Like, all right, you know, it's like whenever Mankind showed up in WWF, I'm like, well, that's Cactus Jack, but I guess he's this guy now, and that's fine, you know.
And it's just a 5-minute conversation in your head, or even quicker than that.
Yeah,
and then it just transitions.
And then he starts being like a badass, and then I'm like, well, I don't even care. And then it becomes funny that he was a guy with long blonde hair that used to have like polka dot tights that he wore.
Yeah,
you know.
And thankfully, he was not really thankfully, but still, it helps that like stunning Steve Austin was mean. Like he was still an aggressive, mean guy.
Yeah.
He was just blonde from California and didn't drink beer.
Yeah, and he was still like, he was really good. Like he was really good as Stunning Steve and memorable, but it wasn't like you're trying to fight with the idea of how he was presented in WCW, because you never saw him as a top guy in WCW. So it's like, oh, now he's this guy, you know.
In their second match that we watched today, Austin gets in the ring and puts his hands up in the air and goes, "I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest."
Well, and it's funny that
God damn it,
he's
are.
supposed to be like this Hollywood elite snob guy, but he can only talk like he's from Texas. Like he's still
and his name is still Steve Austin.
Yeah, he's still the rattlesnake, you know. So sure. They are by Pro Wrestling Illustrated, they were ranked the 50th best tag team during the PWI years. And then for the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which is Dave Meltzer's newsletter, they were the tag team of the year in 1993. Sports Illustrated put them as the 31st greatest tag team of all time, between the Young Bucks and Los Guerreros. That's an interesting group to put.
Is Los Guerreros Chavo and Eddie?
Chavo and Eddie.
God damn, they put him above Chavo and Eddie.
Yeah. Oh no, Chavo and Eddie are 30th. So it's the Young Bucks.
Oh, so they put them in
Hollywood
ahead
Blondes,
of the Young Bucks.
Yeah, Los Guerreros.
All right.
Steve Austin I found this quote where he's like, Brian and I, when they first put us together, I don't know how excited he was about it, but I know I wasn't excited about it. Once we gelled as a team, we didn't really communicate a whole lot, or we didn't have to. It was a deal whether Brian went in first or I went in first, or just tagging in and out. We knew exactly what the other guy was going to do. So we were so much on the same page. It was incredible for guys with two completely different mindsets and backgrounds initially. But as a tag team, we were always on the same page, coming off the top rope, doing all the stuff that we did. A lot of people would say, hey, man, the Hollywood Blondes, some of the greener people say, they were one of the best tag teams of all time. No, we weren't. We weren't even close. We were maybe in the top 30 or top 40. But had we been together for another 2 or 3 years, I have no doubt we would have been considered one of the best tag teams of all time, because we had only scratched the surface.
I see no lies there.
Yeah, that's completely the truth. They got broken up because they got too over. I forgot to mention. Some people were upset at the fact that this team that was supposed to go nowhere was over as hell.
This fucking wrestling is so stupid.
Yeah, these guys are making us a lot of money and popular. I don't like it. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
But that's why there'll never be a union, because it's not a business that is cooperative or encouraging of cooperation.
Same thing in MMA.
Yeah. And in stand-up, there's a lot of that sort of vibe in stand-up too. A guy gets too popular, we got to tear that guy down. You know, we got to not like that guy anymore.
That's getting better amongst comedians publicly. But in the people do a pretty good job of tearing down popular comedians.
Yeah. So they were put together for no reason. They were broken up for no reason. And like Steve says, I really do think they could have been considered one of the best tag teams, because they didn't have a run with the Nasty Boys or Harlem Heat, who were coming in, or even Sting and Lex Luger, or any of those the Steiner brothers, any of those teams that are in WCW a year or two later, if the Hollywood Blondes were still around. The Steiners versus the Hollywood Blondes would have been insane. That's the
Steiners as baby faces, like coming in with the Hollywood Blondes being dicks, and them running in. That would have been sick. Where was Laud?
Laud was in Japan, I believe, or possibly Animal had kind of retired because his back was fucked up, and then he came back.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, even the LOD, they're not the Midnight Express because they didn't have the same accolades or longevity in their career or any of that stuff. But they're, like I said, they're of that same mold in my mind as the Midnight Express or Tully and Arn, dickhead heel tag teams of good athletes, but not overwhelmingly big guys that can bump all over the place and make the baby faces look great. They could have been awesome with the Legion of Doom or the Steiners or any of those big teams. And the Legion of Doom are kind of the comparison point where, when you saw the Legion of Doom, that's like a completed package. You know, they had the face paint from the beginning. They had Iron Man as their theme song. They had all the other shit that they
And they're classic tag team wrestlers. Like Steve Austin said himself, he wanted to be a singles guy.
Yeah.
You know, and like the Legion of Doom were like that. They were a package.
Yeah.
You know.
So, but it's still really interesting. Like, and I really enjoyed going back and watching because they're great matches and there's great personalities, and it's just like it's an interesting piece of history to look at because Steve Austin again becomes the biggest goddamn star in wrestling history.
Yeah.
But he's the same guy all throughout this thing, like you said. So
I love watching when it's early on and you can just tell that he's good and that he's like, it could have went south. There's not, I don't know. I don't believe in Steve Austin was going to be the biggest star in the world no matter what you did with him.
Right.
I think the Ringmaster probably would have tanked, but they were always going to change the Ringmaster because it tanked, but like every talent can be ruined by a bad gimmick. Even like Dusty Rhodes was the polka dot guy. Everybody would have loved the polka dot guy, but if that wasn't Dusty Rhodes, if Dusty Rhodes didn't have the history before that,
right.
and it was just this charismatic guy in polka dots with his sidekick lady, he's a beloved wrestler that shows up in a gimmick battle royale someday.
Right.
And everybody loved him, and he did great work and all that stuff. There's just a ceiling to the gimmick,
Yeah.
And so there is a butterfly effect aspect to this where like I'm glad everything went down the way it did, except for him breaking his neck and Brian Pillman dying. I can't say I'm glad those things happened. Right. But like if one thing goes differently, we might not have the Texas rattlesnake.
Yeah. You know who would subscribe to that theory? Popular chaos mathematician Ian Malcolm.
That is true. That is true.
I'm trying to work in
a drop of water on his hand.
I'm trying to work in Sleepless in Seattle because that's also on the list of films from July 1993.
Well, they're an unlikely couple. They were reluctant at first.
That's true.
And they slowly started to realize how well they knew each other. They felt like they knew each other without even having to be around each other too often.
Oh, and The Firm, Collusion.
I'm talking more. You've got mail actually.
Well, Sleepless in Seattle.
Are they the same movie?
Kind of the same movie. Yeah. Also, The Firm, where powers beyond the Hollywood blondes' control are the reason that all of these terrible things are happening to them. The shadowy figures deciding the fates of normal people.
Well, maybe, and I think this might have been the next year, but maybe Arn was able to get over that hump and win those titles because he went to Tony Perkis's camp.
Yeah, the new Camp Hope, and he rode a go-kart, and he was like, you know what, I can do it.
He got his wings.
Yeah. Well, I think on that note, we're out. Thank you to everybody who listens. We appreciate you all very much. Like Andrew said, we're on, if you could think of a social, we're probably on there. Go ahead and check. But mostly check us out on YouTube. We got videos of me trying to name all the pay-per-view opponents of wrestlers, and we got all kinds of things on there that we're trying to put out for you. Let us know if there's anything that you want us to cover. And I think next week, unless you want to pick a number, I thought we were going to maybe do Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio at Halloween Havoc 97.
We'll do that one. I gotta revisit that. I gotta recalibrate my favorite match of all time scenario. We also should at some point watch Brett versus Austin.
Yes, from WrestleMania 13. That's we'll have to. That one's on the list, but maybe we'll watch. We won't let the fates decide on that one. We will try to hoist control from the fates, much like the creators and engineers of one Jurassic Park.
Every once in a while, you got to play God.
Yeah, thank you.
And then get judged.
Thank you for everybody who listens. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll be back next week on the Wrestling Over Everything podcast.
Love you. Where's my cursor? All right, there it is.